So this would have been a trend touch, and it's trying to hold trend, but I don't know. I don't see it happening. I don't see it holding this trend, but I guess we'll see. I guess we'll see. It's crossing trend right now, so that's okay. That's not like a crazy trend or anything. It's just the purple trend is the one you want to cross. So let's hope for a pullback here. We did hit this valley right here. What's going on in the other time frame? So no valleys, close that. There's going to be no valleys here. No, there's no valleys here. That's the problem. It's the valley is too far up for it to gap straight up. So I like a pullback here. Guess we'll see. Wow, this is really fighting for this trend break. But I mean, this is showing you that it's trying to gap up the valley. So you could make a decision here if you wanted to. Oops, QKC. I keep going to QKC. It's like subliminally programmed into me. You could make a decision here if you want to buy right now. I personally would not, but that doesn't mean it's not going to launch up here. I would like to see this hit a more important level. So I guess in the end, it does hit this level and hold this bigger hold level from the past, which is telling you something pretty important. However, I still want to be greedy. I like greed. I like greed because if this doesn't work, I could just simply move on to the next coin. Damn. Damn, damn, damn. It is, it's breaking trend. So our TA is accurate. We just didn't get entry. Is it inversing failure? Yes, please. Yes, 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 yes. Please fail. We want to get a better entry on this. This is what we want. We want it to inverse the failure. We want it to inverse the failure, not be able to break its ladder. It's breaking small ladders, but we want this inverse. Damn, we missed a 5% position. That was pretty quick too. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes, percent a minute. Don't settle for anything less than perfect entry. We can see a pullback. Now we have to start reassessing these levels. If we think it's going to break trend here, we have to start reassessing these levels. This is a hold level right here that's pretty significant. This is tested. What is not tested is this. So this will be my next buy right here. Or the 4-hour hold possibly. So what's the difference? That's what I would look at between the 4-hour hold and this. I like being greedy though. I really like being greedy. Okay, so back test the 4, come back, break trend, reject that, come up, inverse off this level. What is this, a 15 or a 5? This is nothing. This is not even a 3-minute. This is a 1-minute inverse. So you have the decision here to buy trend, which I don't like, buy this hold level again, which I don't like. I'm starting to feel like buying this lower range is smarter here. I don't even know if I'd want to buy this hold at 29.70. Let's see what happens. If this is happening at 12.55, realize that if this happened right here at 12.55, if it's like that for 5 more minutes, it can set up a 4-hour dump, because the 4-hour can now just distribute like crazy, because it can dump down, because now it can set up, because you have to realize that, like, okay, for example, this can only set up a dump on the next candle. This cannot hard close. This can only set up a dump, this candle. So you go to the 15. What can the 15 do? The 15 can't even set up a 15-minute close yet. Like, we have to have a 15-minute candle close under this, even in order to see the next 15-minute close, which is leading into what on the hourly. So what are you leading to on the hourly? A back attack of the global trend. That's what you're leading to on the hourly, right? So you have to realize that, like, fractal charting is extremely tough, as it should be, because fractal information is where everything hides, right? Like, fractally, that's where all the hidden demons are, is fractally. That's where you see everything. That's where you see the correct hold level. That's where you see the correct trend being tested. That's where you see the correct closing, right? Again, to me, like I've been saying, this doesn't look that great to me. I still want to be greedy and get one of these lower zones. This just looks like a little scalp that happened. I'm not convinced that it hit a more significant enough hold level. It hasn't really broken a good enough trend, and it hasn't set up anything to really, it hasn't shown me anything that I really think is like, I go back to saying this, have an excuse to enter the trade. My excuse to enter this trade was one of these hold levels. Like, I like these hold levels, and I really like this one down here. Like, this 15-minute is untested. I like this as a first bounce target, this right here, which is the same level I have, 28.73, just fractally 28.77. So I'm going to buy it 20. 28.80, right? Like that is an excuse to buy, right? Like this thing pumping is just like, it's almost like FOMO. Like look at where the price is now. It's just pulled right back and it's holding this hold level again, right? So you have to realize that like this candle here, this dump candle, although it's breaking trend, it can only set up the break of the next trend on the next 5-minute chart, which is going to then have an effect on the hourly chart because you're looking at the timestamp and it's 11:55. So you have to realize that this distribution here, right here, sometimes will get people out of positions wrongfully because they're not seeing the fractal information. Because this isn't breaking trend. All this candle can do on this 5-minute time frame is just set up the trend break for the next one. Just like these 1-minute candles, like this actually isn't a trend break until you have this candle here can set up this trend break here at 11:55. So at 11:55, just like this here, you can only begin to start to set up a larger time frame distribution. So as you go from the 1-minute charts to the 3-minute chart, now to a 5-minute chart, the 5-minute this can only ever set up the 5-minute break, which is at 11:55. So if this 11:55 candle closes, it can only then set up a 15 or an hourly close. So it's not actually losing its level yet. That's where people get, like you see this and you're like, oh, wick down, it's a bear, like, you know, that whole bear trap thing. No, it's not hard closing it. Like this candle right now, this could dump all the way down to 27.86, but technically can't hard close this level on a 15-minute chart because look, the bottom side of the candle, or well, it would be bottom side like this, but obviously top side on distribution. I always just call it the bottom side, whether it's the top or bottom. The bottom side of this candle isn't hard closing a strong enough level yet. So it's the fractal information is where it lies, right? Yep. Even these local and globals I have are just relevant to the 15, just to realize that this is only like, look where this trend is. It's nothing. This trend is literally nothing. It's barely even existent. So this is the thing about scalping, is like you have to take perfect entry and be patient. Like this was a really good entry for whoever entered here. They made their 5%, but I know a lot of people probably would have started FOMO entering and now been in negative profits, because this is why it's so important to get perfect entry, because perfect entry will show you the bounce, right? Like even if somebody bought right here, like let's rewind this and go back to talking about where there's a bounce. Like if somebody truly thought this was the right place to buy for whatever reason and it got liquidated down, they would sell like down here. Meanwhile, this will bounce back up. They will be like, oh, trend is breaking, I need to sell. They sell right there, right? They sell right there, and then look, it just skyrockets right back up. So even if you entered right here, how do you measure losses properly, right? Like you measure the loss from here to the level that it can reject to. So the level that it can come back to, if you bought here because there's a trend break here, the level that it can come and back test is this. So you don't measure losses. Like this is a good example of measuring losses. You don't measure losses from entry to trend or trend break, because that's what people do. They say, I'm going to enter here, and if it breaks this trend, I'm leaving. But this is so common, it's not even funny. Trend breaks, and then somebody injects up and buys their losses just for a small scalp. Like this is like buying right here was basically this guy saying like, I'm buying this person's losses because that person is selling here. Well, the correct way to measure the loss in this chart is from this point to this point. That's how you measure losses in a trade. You measure them from where you buy to where it can bounce to, which is a 1% loss instead of a 5% loss. But that's what this person did. They bought this guy's losses because he sold on trend break. So selling on trend break necessarily isn't smart either. It depends how you enter it. It all draws back to entry, because that contradicts what we said about free rolling entry, about how you would sell this. Well, that's different. We identified a buy here and a sell here, which is incorrect because the sell is here. But in this case, where we bought trend here, this is the correct sell here. This is all about getting perfect entry based on what you are looking for. And going back to this, where target is up here, your sell is either target or your sell is either trend break when you enter here. But when you've entered here, your sell isn't trend break, right? Like, so it's all about getting perfect entry. When you get perfect entry, it's almost like walking into a room, like, you know, you see on these TV shows, like these horror shows or something, somebody goes into a carnival and they go into that room where they enter one room and the room spins and it's got 10 doors, right? And they're all question marks. Like, that's when you enter here is when you have like a lot of opportunities to exit. Like there's like 10 doors and half of them are correct. But if you enter here, there's only like one correct exit, and the correct exit only if it holds and breaks trend. So like everything starts with perfect entry. When you understand how important perfect entry is, it opens like it's almost like you transform as a trader. It opens like 20 new possibilities to make profits, instead of just like the wrong entry gives you like only one static outcome, which is up or die. It's like up or die. But if you have the right entry, it gives you like 5 or 10 ways to get out properly in profits without having to be in fear and panic. So that's like the thing. Like that's why it's so important to like enter trades as like the perfect entry will change you as a trader. It will give you options. It will make it so that you're not just playing with one hand. You have like a full keyboard and a mouse versus just a joystick. You know what I mean? Like there's a huge difference when you enter something properly. Like the amount of flexibility and room you have in a trade is like vast. It's so grand. Like QKC is a good example of that. We have so many different areas in which we could exit profits. Like we can just kind of do whatever we want with this thing instead of, one shot, one kill, like hit here and go up or die. Like you're not left with any options. But like perfect entry is just so important. It's so eye-opening. Perfect entry. It's that's why I'm just sticking to my guns and saying like I want perfect entry. And I don't even know if this is perfect entry here. I'd like to actually dissect this more and be able to think. But what I do know is that there's a nice hold level here. So I do think we are going to have a pretty significant bounce off of this level here, which I want to identify and drill down a bit because this is pretty close to this. There's no difference in these two levels. So what I want to do actually is I want to look at why this is a level here. So this is a level because there's something inside of this candle on the 1 minute. What is that? A 1 minute? Little 1 minute. Yeah. Okay. So there's like a little 1 minute valley here, but the real level is down here. So like, yeah, I'm just going to take the 1 minute valley. And then even on the 1 minute valley, there's like a little tiny tick in here, 28.99. I don't think that's strong enough, but what I do think is strong enough is this 15-minute level. And the 15-minute level has a little tiny micro valley inside there. So I'd like to actually buy a little bit over that, like 28.82 maybe. But if I get that perfect entry, I have like 5 different exits that I can make profits, right? If I buy now, it's like break trend or die. There's no in between. There's like literally no in between. It's break trend or die right now. Doesn't mean it's like bad. Obviously it was correct here, but what I'm seeing is this person right here, but this person's losses, and this person just exited incorrectly, which a lot of us do. A lot of us do that. I've been guilty of that until I understood like proper exits on trades. Like scalping on a trade, like you go here, you break trend, you sell, but then it bounces back to like you have to realize this is a level of failure, but so is this. These are both the same level. This level here and this level here are like literally identical levels. They're both showing you failure. One is just showing you instant failure. Like sometimes we'll see trend break. This is a local trend, right? So you have a little trend break, bounces up to the little local level and still goes down and it's still going down, right? We don't have a good reason to enter this yet. You know what a good reason to enter this is going to be? When we come to this purple trend, then I might consider taking entry. Right now, this is just somebody got really smart and bought the scalp. Somebody bought this guy's losses. Somebody wised up to what was happening here. And this happens like every trade. There's always somebody buying somebody else's loss.
Hey everyone, how's it going? As you know, I'm now giving out some of this content for free that I was otherwise charging for the past little while. Yeah, drop a donation, subscribe to the channel, join Patreon. You'll get access to Discord. Great way. Lots of top level traders in there, people who are doing this for a career every single day. So go to Patreon, join a tier, get access to Discord. Go on Reddit, talk about future of trading, talk about the science of trading, talk about cotton candy, socials, everything you can. Let's help this thing grow. It's the way you guys can thank me for giving out this content for free that I was otherwise charging money for. So I'll leave a Bitcoin address on the screen. I'll leave the Patreon address on the screen. Just do something to help out. Okay, thanks guys. Take care.